out of it. Booyah, booyah,
I am GW McElfresh, and welcome to Learn on Us, a channel in which myself, my roommate Parker Leah-Broughton, and his sister Katie Leah-Broughton try to inform and introduce new topics that we find interesting to you. Imagine you were jettisoned out of a spaceship with no sort of protection. Within tens of seconds, your body would begin to bloat due to the lack of atmospheric pressure on your skin. Additionally, you would suffer a roughly 90-second suffocation process in which the saliva on your tongue would undergo such pressure that it begins to boil on your tongue. Now, any other animal would suffer the same fate upon being jettisoned into orbit, except for one, the tardigrade. The tardigrade has an astonishing ability to survive virtually everywhere. But first, we're going to discuss what it does in its spare time. The tardigrade, which spends most of his life in either a patch of moss or a patch of lichen, spends his time kind of swimming around lazily throughout the water within that moss or lichen, using his 8 legs, each equipped with a little claw-like attachment at the end, to propel himself through the water. And his back 2 legs are put on backwards so that he may perform some aqueous acrobatics. When the moss that the tardigrade is living in dries to the point that the tardigrade itself only has 3% of its bodily supply of water left, it begins a stage called cryptobiosis, and this is where the magic happens. During this cryptobiotic state, the tardigrade just kind of rolls up and dies. This might sound like when a bear hibernates, but when the tardigrade rolls up and dies, like it really dies. Whenever you see a hibernating bear, you can walk up to it, check its pulse. Oh, it still has a heartbeat. It's slower, but still has a heartbeat. The tardigrade completely stops. Like, whatever it was eating, it's stopped mid-chew, stopped mid-beat, stopped everything about it. This ability to roll up and die may not sound astounding, but it is during this stage of cryptobiosis that the tardigrade can withstand temperatures ranging from nearly 1.5 times the boiling point of water to the other side of the spectrum at about half a Celsius away from absolute zero. And then, when conditions return to normal, it gets right back up, shrugs it off, and starts reproducing and fighting with other tardigrades. Incidentally, the tardigrade has this ability that when there is too much water in an environment, it just sort of swells up and floats around for a couple days while it's waiting for its moss to dry out, but that's not as nearly as impressive as the cryptobiotic state. So, back to that. The question arises, what do you do with this animal that can survive in nearly all temperatures present except for, like, on the surface of stars? And the answer, my friends, is the panspermia hypothesis. In short, the panspermia hypothesis relies on the fact that some form of life would be able to transfer from one planet to another planet, therefore creating more places where life could be and, like, reproducing and populating other planets. So, of course, upon discovering this little creature that can survive all sorts of temperatures and up to 6,000 times more atmospheric pressure than experienced on our Earth, the first thing we decided to do was to ship it into space. A program called Tardigrades in Space, or TARDIS, has been launched in order to observe tardigrades after returning from an orbit around the Earth for 20 or so days. They keep messing with the increments to find out just how long a tardigrade could survive in the depths of space. In 2007, they actually sent a bunch of tardigrades up, had them orbit the Earth for 20 days, and then when the tardigrades came back, upon 30 minutes of being back under normal temperatures and normal water levels, they began to start coming back to life and fighting and eating little algae and having little tardigrade babies. After 20 days in orbit, no oxygen, no water, no anything. So by studying this little invertebrate more, we may find out that they actually lived on Mars or other planets in our solar system that might have had water at some point. I hope you enjoyed this brief history of the tardigrade. And Katie, Parker, I look forward to seeing your guys' videos. And if you have not yet seen Parker's video published last week about Valentine's Day, please click either on our channel or on my face, actually. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.